All right. Appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. If you would just give it a like on your way in. If you're new, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you don't miss a live stream. Um, got a lot I want to talk about tonight. I don't know if anybody saw this, but the border crisis is so much worse than we thought. I mean, we all knew it was pretty bad, but I saw last week that 430,000 ish of the people who are here illegally have criminal backgrounds. 13,000 of them, roughly, probably more, if we're being honest, at least 13,000 of them have murder convictions. And then another like 15,000 are rapists. So, I mean, it's just, what more can you do? I mean, at this point, I feel like we all probably know at least one person that is planning to vote for Kamala Harris. I know people that are voting for her, mostly because they just hate Trump. That's just the reality. But what I want to know, my question for those people is, what exactly are you getting out of this? What do you gain from this? Right? I know that some people just, like I said, they hate Donald Trump, so they'll vote for anybody else. They've said they'll vote for a cucumber, they'll vote for a pelican, whatever. As long as it's not Donald Trump, they'll vote for it. What exactly do you gain from the illegal immigrants that are coming into the country? And before I really get into the weeds on it, I want to share a tweet with you guys that I saw, I think yesterday morning, from Elon Musk. It actually made me really think about all this. It's honestly kind of depressing, but I need to read it to you guys because it's one of the most accurate and honest tweets that I've heard or that I've read. So this is what he said. He said, very few Americans realize that if Trump is not elected, this will be the last election. Far from being a threat to democracy, he's the only way to save it. Let me explain. If even 1 in 20 illegals becomes a citizen per year, something that Democrats are expediting as fast as humanly possible, that would be about 2 million new legal voters in 4 years. The voting margin in swing states is often less than 20,000 votes. That means if the Democrats succeed, there will no longer be swing states. Moreover, Biden-Harris administration have been flying asylum seekers who are fast-tracked to citizenship directly into swing states like Pennsylvania, Ohio, Wisconsin, and Arizona. It is a surefire way to win every election. America then becomes a one-party state and democracy is over. The only elections will be the Democrat primaries. This already happened in California many years ago following the 1986 amnesty. I think that was Ronald Reagan. The only thing holding California back from extreme socialism and suffocating government policies is that people can leave California and still remain in America. Once the whole country is controlled by one party, there will be no escape. Everywhere in America will be like the nightmare that is downtown San Francisco. Now think about that. That is essentially what we're up against. That's what we're up against. They are replacing you. They're replacing me. They're replacing every single citizen that they can. Because you know why? Because we're not voting for them. They know they're losing voters. They don't gain voters. They lose voters. That's why they don't want voter ID. That's why they're fast tracking citizenship. That's why the border is open, because they're trying to replace a residual voting block that they are hemorrhaging by the day, by the minute. People are waking up, seeing what's going on. They're tired of high prices. They're tired of this country going to hell. They're tired of the extremism, and they're moving. They're moving. They're shifting to the Republican Party. They're shifting to independent. They're not supporting the Democrats. So what they're doing and what they've been doing for years, which I've been talking about for years, same with pretty much anybody else you listen to, they've been using welfare as a magnet to bring people up from Central and South America, from other countries, so that they will vote for Democrats. They're using welfare, our taxpayer-funded welfare, to bring them to the United States so they can replace you. And it's really eye-opening when you really put it all into perspective that we will have no more swing states. We will have no more elections if they get their way. Not to mention, they'll make Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. states so they can have 4 additional senators and have a permanent majority in the House and the Senate. They want a permanent majority in Congress. Then they can rule with an iron fist and you won't be able to escape anywhere. So when people say, yeah, that'll be the end of our republic, that's the end of the United States, that's not hyperbole. That would quite literally be the end of the United States, because you know what's going to happen? If Democrats gain control of the House, the Senate, and the White House, like majority, they are going to do that. They're going to expand the Supreme Court, stack it. They're going to end the filibuster. And then they'll ram through their full-fledged agenda. And you know what's going to happen then? You're going to have states like Florida and Texas and Tennessee and other red states. They're going to reject it. They're going to reject the agenda. They're not going to abide by federal law. And yeah, it's just nobody's going to trust elections anymore. There'd be no point of voting anymore. That's how close we are to it. And they can easily achieve this by just keeping the borders open. Keep the borders open, make people legal voters, shift a bunch of people to swing states, fly these immigrants into Ohio, fly them into Pennsylvania, Georgia. They're going to do that. And, you know, as I'm even talking about it, it seems like they will probably get their way eventually. You know, what happens after Trump? What happens? Where do you go after Trump? You know, assuming Trump gets in, right? What happens 4 years from now? Unless there's a concerted effort to get more people on board with saving this country, we'll be right back where we are right now in 4 years. It's going to take several years to hopefully turn the ship around. But I mean, it starts with this election right here. I don't have a lot of confidence that if somehow if they steal this, I don't have any confidence that we're going to see another election where it actually matters. That's just the reality of it. That's how important this election is. At least that's my perspective. That's my view on it. So I don't know what your thoughts are, but it just seems like that's where we're headed. We either elect Trump or that's pretty much the end of the country, because, you know, and of course we got to obviously keep a majority in the House, get a majority in the Senate, because then we can put a limit on government power. That's really the fundamental difference. Is government is the solution or government is the problem? Government needs to be tempered or it needs to be expanded. Which side of that are you on? It's really that simple if you want to, you know, boil it down for people that are not into politics. But, you know, speaking of the election, I want to know what you guys think about this, right? Do we honestly think they're going to just let him win? Do you think they're going to let him win? I'm very curious about that, right? No matter how it looks on election night, right? If it looks like, oh yeah, he's winning Pennsylvania, he's winning Michigan, yeah, he won North Carolina, cool. When it comes down to it, if it looks like, oh my gosh, he's flipping other states, he flipped Virginia, he flipped New Hampshire, he flipped New Mexico, whatever state it is, aren't they just going to hit the pause button again and contest it? You know, are we going to see some water main breaks? What's going to happen? I just feel like we're in for a bumpy ride in November. Just because I don't see them, because they're so unbelievably desperate to keep this man out of office. I mean, they're doing really weird stuff too. So this is another thing that I found this morning. Let me mute it. This is some Trump statue that they put up in Las Vegas. You guys see that? This Trump statue that was, I guess, outside of a rally. Kamala had a rally in Las Vegas, and they put this statue up where it looks like he's hanging, he's nude. What is this? And then, you know, they're saying you're weird, right? JD Vance is weird. Conservatives are weird. Only you guys are putting up naked statues of Trump. That is, what even is that? You guys remember back in when he was in office before, they had, what did they put those Trump baby blimps up? I mean, really weird stuff that they're doing over there. And what does this do? You know, What does this do other than radicalize people, make, insane people go camp outside of his golf course to try and take him out? It's things like this. Supposedly they call this art. You notice how they call the weirdest things art? Not like what Bob Ross used to paint. That was art. So there's some abstract art out there too. But stuff like this is not art. This is not art. And it is so weird that they are doing this. What is even the goal other than to continue dividing the country? Uh, lunatics is correct. Yes. Yeah. So I mean, there's that. And then Kamala had this rally. I'm sure. I wonder who was behind this. It'd be shocking if she didn't know about it. Just because it gives her another talking point. But she went to the border to stage a little photo op. Now, I said this a couple weeks ago, right? They are campaigning. She is campaigning for the low information voter. That is who she's trying to win over. They say it's about independents. I feel like independents are probably more informed. There's just a lot of people out there that don't vote, that don't pay attention to politics. And so they're putting ads out there because they know those people will see them on Instagram when they're scrolling, when they're on TikTok, when they're watching the game. The NFL games were on yesterday. They're the ones that they're targeting. They're targeting people that don't pay attention to politics. So they want you to think Kamala Harris is a border hawk. She prosecuted transnational gangs and she grew up in a middle-class family. She worked at McDonald's. I mean, that's who they're campaigning for. So when she goes down to the border to, take a picture, it's because she wants people to think that she's actually concerned about what's going on at the border. She actually is very concerned. She wants you to think that. That's who she's campaigning for. She says, "Oh, no taxes on tips." Never mind the fact that she stole that from Trump. That's just something she wants people to think she actually supports. And the less that you know about her, the better. It's all backwards, y'all. That's how they're trying to do it. I mean, let me get in this chat. Thanks for trying to get the word out, Mike. It's sad that nobody in this chat is participating. Those people in the chat participating. It's just, what can you really say at this point other than if you know somebody that is on the fence? It's really shocking to think that there are people on the fence. But if you know somebody that's on the fence, you got to ask them the question that Kamala Harris won't answer. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And see what they say. And if they're not better off than they were 4 years ago, then ask them why. Well, what's different? Maybe you should vote for someone else. Maybe you should vote for Donald Trump this time. Marilyn said, "Hey, good to see you. Miss you on RSBN." Yeah, if they get busy again, then I will get out there and go do some rallies. They said they would call me. So we will see. I just have a feeling that once we get into like late October, he's probably going to do 3 to 4 rallies a day because that's what he did in 2020. And obviously they can only have one crew per day at an event. One crew per event. They can't fly because he just crisscrossed the country. He would go from Michigan to Pennsylvania to Wisconsin. He would do all of those in one day. So they had us kind of split up in 2020. We'll see if that happens. Somebody said Pete Rose died. Dikembe Mutombo died today. Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, guys, I don't know. Yeah, there really isn't a lot of people in the chat right now. I felt like because I hadn't done a live stream since that JD Vance event, which was not what I was hoping for. I was hoping for them to not open the gates so quickly. But anyway, I just wanted to do another quick live stream. I've been kind of busy. You probably can't hear it, but my 3-year-old's stumping around upstairs. So, but I was like, man, I got to at least do one live stream a week if I can. I do have some guests that I'm planning to have on the channel here in about a week. So be on the lookout for that. Someone said, thank you for your live stream. Small towns are dealing with the effects. Yeah, that's the thing. And then you got this hurricane. That's the other big thing, too. So, Hurricane Helene, we all know what happened there. Slammed into Florida, moved up through Georgia, Pennsylvania. I feel like people were even getting rain up in like Michigan from that. I watched it on the little map, and it is a massive storm. Anyhow, it looks like what Western North Carolina is completely devastated. Towns completely wiped out. It looks like the post office is not going to be delivering mail, or they're pausing on picking up and delivering mail. I doubt that's going to last for a full month, but for the time being, they're not going to. So I feel like that affects early voting. Again, you shouldn't really be trusting. I wouldn't trust you could do what you want, but I personally wouldn't trust the post office with my vote. I mean, would you send a $20 bill through the mail? Most people would say, no, I wouldn't send cash through the mail. Why would you send your vote through the mail? But apparently we're giving money to Ukraine, but we can't help our American citizens in need. So we sent a bunch of money to Ukraine again, and for them to do it right now it's just shocking. They would do that right now instead of giving that money and the resources needed to our citizens. And look at this. I guess CNN is a broken clock is right twice a day. Apparently CNN is acknowledging the fact that Trump is boots on the ground. He was down in Valdosta today, which is where we did a rally actually back in 2021, to meet with people that lost everything.
Clearly taking this seriously as a politician, is on the ground trying to show that he is there in support of the people on the ground in Georgia. And of course, this comes as well. He is, again, offering a message of unity. He has spent the last several days slamming Kamala Harris, his rival, for not being on the ground, for not helping with this storm. And I do want to point out what.
So it could not be more clear. I mean, look at the response to a disaster, which the timing of it is just very interesting. Anyway, I mean, when there's a disaster like what we have going on in the United States with this hurricane, Trump is caring about citizens of the country. Kamala's over there with fake accents and, border photos, Biden sleep on a beach and then giving money to Ukraine. And Trump is actually talking to the people. You can't make it up, man. We just need people to see what's going on, who has actual answers, who has a solid track record to run on, right? And who doesn't. What is she running on? Platitudes. I watched her ads. I was watching football yesterday. I could not go through a commercial break without seeing a Kamala Harris ad. And all it was just a bunch of platitudes and talking points and slogans, a new way forward. What does that even mean? How does that translate to policy? What's your policy? But then I saw a Trump ad. I finally saw a Trump ad. In my opinion, she's running a ton of ads in Minnesota, where I live. She's running a ton of ads, which tells me she's nervous about losing the state. Trump, on the other hand, is not running a lot of ads here, which he should. I saw one ad yesterday. I think it's the first one that I've seen just come up on my TV, where he talked about her wanting to give taxpayer-funded sex changes to illegal immigrants. Not just illegal immigrants that are in prison should get taxpayer-funded sex changes. What are these priorities, y'all? Will we ever know? What other than, we're replacing you as a citizen. We need a new voting block. So we're going to fly immigrants into Ohio and Texas and everywhere else because they're going to vote Democrat. Period. So I feel like a lot more people are noticing that for sure. Definitely people in the media. What else is going on? Before I wrap up, I do have to keep it short tonight. Short and sweet tonight. Um, what else is on you guys' mind? Talk to me. I want to hear from the people. The chat is a little bit delayed, so it takes a sec, maybe like a minute or so before I actually see what you guys posted in the chat. But if you guys can help me with one thing, I am looking for Kamala Harris events that are near me. Why? Because I want to go to them. I want to go and document, see if there's buses dropping people off, see how many people are there, see where these events are at. Are they going out to the rural areas? Are they just going to stay in the population centers? Here's the thing. I've Googled it. I've looked it up on DuckDuckGo. I've searched everywhere, including her website. Her events are not listed anywhere. You can't just see, hey, is there a rally near me? Is there any kind of event I can attend? That information is not anywhere online. Now ask yourself, why is that information not online? And how are people able to find it and then go to these events? Now, maybe it's just something I'm missing. I'm not being a conspiracy theorist. I'm just saying maybe it's something I'm missing, but it's not on her website. Whereas if you go to Trump's website, you can see where he's going to be, when, and you can see it listed out for at least a week. You go to her website, you go on Google, you search, you can't find that information anywhere. And yet you have people showing up at these rallies. So that makes me wonder, are they just transporting people around the country to go to these events? It just seems a little suspicious that they're not showing it at all. Brian said there was a hearing today in DeKalb County proving how vulnerable the voting systems are. An expert witness hacked into the machine right in front of them. That's interesting. Yeah, the voting machines. That's another thing that I just feel like did we do enough? Did we do enough to clean up our elections? Since we know the vulnerability is there, you know, they're trying to get as many illegal aliens um, citizenship as possible. They're trying to get as many of them citizenship as possible so they can vote with an ID, I guess. I just feel like, you know, they're just playing the long game. But did we do enough to clean up our elections? I know that Virginia did. Paper ballots. You got to show an ID. I think maybe it's Georgia. They got to count by hand. I don't remember what state it was, but they're going to count by hand so they don't have to deal with the voting machines. They're going to start transporting through swing states. The swing state. I don't know what's going on with the chat. If it's super delayed or if it's my. I don't know if it's could be my internet too. And I do apologize if my internet is slow. I know the last stream it was kind of buffering and got weird. It's because my router is all the way upstairs. I'm not seeing any chats come in at this point. I don't know. But I see people in there talking. Ad said, we appreciate you. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, I'll have some guests on the channel. Some guests you actually know, some you've seen before. Starting like next week, up until the election, I want to do at least one a week where I have somebody come in and we do a little live stream together. But I'm going to go ahead and cut this short, guys, tonight. But I do appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you would, just give it a thumbs up if you haven't already. Subscribe, hit the bell notification so you don't miss a live stream. And I'm going to take off, guys, but I will catch you in the next stream.